Hi, I'm Ginny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. This is the speaker portion of our Connections After Hours gathering of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. I have a real treat for you tonight because I am bringing you three brilliant entrepreneurs to share the best business advice they've ever received and how they've used it. So welcome Joanne Young Elliott, Mia Zachary, and Mary E. Knippel. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
So much for having us.
Thank you.
Now, all three of you were featured members at our meeting on Zoom tonight, which means that those here with us on Zoom got to hear a lot about you. So that others watching can know you, please just share your name, where you're Zooming in from, and just a sentence or two about your business. So I'm going to start with you, Joanne.
I'm Joanne Young Elliott, and I am, or say that again, sorry.
Your name, where you're Zooming in from, and just a sentence or
Okay.
two about your business.
Yeah, okay. I'm in Southern California near Los Angeles, and I help women get clear on what they actually want to do with their lives and help them get it.
Thank you. Mia.
Great evening. I'm Reverend Mia Zachary. I am an intuitive counselor, Reiki master teacher, and priestess of the way of love. I'm currently in Charlottesville, Virginia. I help you clear obstacles to your potential, uncover your path, and help you deal with your shift. Yes, there's an F in there.
Thank you, Mia. Mary.
Hello, I'm Mary Knippel. I'm the Soul Story Mentor. I am in Half Moon Bay, California. I help entrepreneurs and creatives and writers in general to articulate their soul's wisdom so that they can connect with who needs to find them and leave a legacy beyond this lifetime.
Thank you. Now I'm going to start with Mia. And Mia, I asked them to be ask our panel to be thinking about some of the best business advice you've gotten. I'm going to start with you, Mia, to share your first piece of business advice. And then Mary and Joanne, you'll have an opportunity to maybe piggyback on that or just add to that before I come to you for your piece of advice. Okay. So Mia, what do you have for us?
How much time do I have, first of all?
Oh, I didn't say, did I? I would keep it to 3 minutes. Okay.
You got it. All right. So the best advice that I got does not come from anything business. It all actually comes from music, and it's something that I do almost every day. I do a 7-minute workout to a very particular song. Ain't No Stopping Us Now by McFadden and Whitehead. Now, if you're over 50, this should be familiar to you. You should know this song. So I sit at the computer a lot. And my husband is always getting on me to please get up, move your body, take a break. So we get up, we put on Ain't No Stopping Us Now, and we do our 7-minute workout. Well, as I was listening to it today, I'm like, what am I going to talk about tonight? I'm supposed to be on this panel. I don't know what to talk about. And then I realized that I had just queued it right up. So what I'd like to do is just share with you some of the lyrics from the song and how it could apply to business. So the first line is, I know you know someone that has a negative vibe. And if you're trying to make it, they only push you aside. All right. So usually the person who's got the negative vibe is me. And I'm always pushing aside the version of myself that is smart and talented and capable and gifted and generous and articulate and all of those things. So that negative vibe is always from like imposter syndrome, childhood trauma. Pick a thing, but it's there. The next line is, there's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around, right? So this to me is a business advice that life comes in cycles. It's got ups and downs like a roller coaster. It's got ins and outs like the tide. And it's just a reminder that this too shall pass. All of the things that have held us down kind of go back to that first lyric about that negative vibe. Well, once you push through that or walk around it, now things are finally coming around, right? All right. So the next lyric I want to share is, I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. So this is the next best part of the business advice is sometimes where you think you're only going there because you see other people that you think are there ahead of you. You're like, oh, this is working for her, so I'm going to follow the same path. But where you end up, you don't know. And sometimes those detours, those left turns, those side tracks, those Jersey wall barriers are there to go, no, you're headed in the wrong direction. You are going to hate being a lawyer. Go back, turn around, stop it. All right. So that's how I ended up being the, marvelous, amazing, wacky weirdo that I am, is because I didn't go where I was supposed to. I'm probably running out of time. So I just want to finish up with this part. If you've never been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. All right, well, let's face it, we have been held down before. If you're a woman in America, you've been held down at some point. But the next bit of advice is, ain't no stopping you now, okay? Today's a fresh start, a new beginning. It is the full moon in February. This is shining light and pushing aside the shadows of who you're capable of being. So ain't no stopping you now. Thank you.
Whoa, thank you. I love how you came up with that, Mia. Thank you so much. I do want to mention, because I forgot to say this before we got on the recording, is that I will stop the recording a little before 8. I'm sorry, 8:30. We officially ended 8:30, but we will take some questions and comments after that. So let's see, Mary or Joanne, do you have anything you want to add to what Mia said?
No, I think she said it all. That was great.
I love that song too. I'm going to have it in my head. I think it's on my playlist. So what about you, Joanne?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I think it sort of spoke to what we talked about in the breakout room too. What I came up with was just knowing that we can do it our way. Like that's a huge thing. And it's that it all comes from within us is really important.
Thanks. Mary, what's your first one?
So I'm going to do something that I encourage my writers to do when I give them a writing prompt. If it doesn't speak to you, take the opposite approach. So I'm going to talk about the advice that I got that I didn't take, which was writing isn't practical. Why are you trying to pursue that? Even though they knew that I've been keeping a journal since I was 11. So I always knew that the answers were at the end of a pen for me. And when you go into business coaches who say, don't put your personal stories into your business. That to me is like you're not letting people who need you truly understand who you are and your why you are doing this, why you are compelled to have the business that you have the philosophy that you have, develop the program that you have, and are writing the things that you are. That's your foundation, and it's your whole makeup, your whole DNA, your destiny, your attitude, and your nature. That where something that we did when we were a kid that we love to do, and if we go into a completely opposite business because this is how you're going to make money because you're selling these widgets and your heart isn't in it, that's not going to help you. It might pad your bank account for a little while, but is it fulfilling you? Is it your purpose? Is it giving you joy? And so being able to identify what gives you joy, writing about those life experiences and what you learn from those life experiences, how you came to be who you are and think the way you do and have the values that you do, because this is what you stand for, then writing is practical. Writing does make sense. And Anyone who says they're not a writer, I disagree wholeheartedly, because we all have a story that the world needs to hear from us. The wisdom that we learned from those life experiences taught us something. It gave us a new direction, whether it was changing the trajectory because we had to take a detour, or we moved cross country because we realized this part of my life isn't working and I want to be over here. Or the company your husband's working for just decides to close its doors, and he has a chance to work for somebody that he has really admired, which meant that we moved 2 states over and bloomed where we were planted this time. And then the next time, then startup didn't start up. So he's sitting at the kitchen table with realtors when I come home from collecting our daughter at school. Changing, the story's changed again. That's how we ended up being in California. And being open to what's next, looking at how we can rewrite the story, that we make it ours, and take what's happening in our life, and as nothing is random. We don't always understand why this happened at this time, but when we go back, it's like, oh, I wouldn't be who I am right now if that hadn't happened. I wouldn't be as brave as I am, as fearless in saying your story matters, if I hadn't been silent for so long, if I hadn't felt invisible. And knowing that my mission is to help other women know that their stories matter, and they're the only ones that can tell it from the inside out. I can be their champion, I can be their nudge and say, okay, we're going to write this, but I can't write it. And AI can't write it either. You have to pick up the pen and do it yourself.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much. Beautiful story, beautiful advice, because, if you want your ideal client to relate to you, they have to find something relatable where they go, oh, and we talked about that, Margie mentioned the meeting with Laura DeFranco this morning. Laura said they have to be able to look at your stuff and go, oh, she gets me. She gets me. So anybody want to comment on what Mary said, Joanne?
Yeah, I always wanted to be a writer too. And when I was younger, it was like, but I didn't know that I could be. It's so strange in a way. But I didn't know I could be. And so, someone, like you telling your story, that, it just encourages people to follow what's inside them. Yeah.
Mia, you want to say anything?
In her talk, something about the reasonings, and excuse me, I just wanted to take that one step further and say, also look at the why beneath your why. So, for example, if you said, oh, I want to, start a business so that I can make a lot of money, that's your why, right? But what's underneath that why? Well, if I make a lot of money, I don't have to worry as much. I can do the things I want to do, blah, 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 blah. So I just wanted to add that to that wonderful advice that Mary gave, that there are whys beneath your why.
Thank you. So true, Mia.
Yeah.
Joanne, what do you have for us?
I have my notes. Okay. Well, this piece of advice, it wasn't exactly these words, but this is the gist of it. It's like, learn to direct your thoughts and make them work for you. Now, this works for anything, not just business, but in business, we need to really focus in order to move forward. So, and I'm trained in the science of mind philosophy. So like, this is it. This is what we learn. We direct our thoughts. For some reason, for years, I didn't really fully embody it until I heard it from my sales coach. For some reason, I don't know, it's just her energy, the way she said it. But so how I use this in business, if you want to think about that way. So recently found myself falling into procrastination. So I checked out how I was feeling and thinking, and some of my thoughts were, I'm too tired, there's too much to do. And so it took a bit, you kind of feel sorry for yourself, and you get kind of, you don't want to do anything. But then I said, well, wait a minute. It's like, these are just thoughts. These are just thoughts. Yes, I was tired, but um, I told myself these thoughts are not helpful. This is not helpful. So I thought about, well, what can I do differently? So um, I told myself, well, this work, maybe I don't want to do this part. Maybe it's not my favorite, but this will help me move me forward. And so I start thinking about my greater vision. And when I thought, like, okay, there's too much to do, well, no, I only need to do what's possible today. So just kind of changing those thoughts just made me feel better, which, I was in this procrastination mode, and I've been like totally out of it this week. Just shifting my thoughts makes a huge difference. And I've also been kind of some thoughts also I've had are like, I'm feeling like I'm behind. I'm getting behind. I'm not where I want to be. I'm falling behind. And a coach of mine helped me reframe that. And they said, it's just a rough patch right now. I'll get through it. What if you use that thought? And that took all the pressure off, all the pressure off. So, and, feeling like there's something wrong is never helpful, of course. So I'm just thinking about, like, our brains will just come up with a lot of thoughts, and that's just what it does. And it's our job to use our brain to direct those thoughts to what we want, to focus on. We create our experience with our thoughts and our feelings and our words. But that awareness we can have to what thoughts we're actually having, maybe like thoughts below the thoughts, all of those feelings and beliefs we have. We can like bring our awareness to them and sort of shift them, and even just the awareness alone too can help loosen up. It's not tied to a specific belief. It's those we created, so we get to create something else. So that's what I
Thank you,
was
Joanne.
sharing.
I'm going to say it a little more rusty than you did. Our brains and our minds make up a whole bunch of crap, don't they? They just do. And, two of the things I like to say to myself sometimes when I fall into that place of, is, I might ask myself, what if this were easy? Like if I'm struggling with something, what if this were easy? And it lightens up the mood. It sometimes an idea will pop in, or what if this were fun? That's another great question to ask to kind of shift the mindset. Mia, I'm going to move over to you, but so we can get 3 more questions, and I'm going to time each of you for 2 minutes. So when I hold up my phone, please bring it to a close, okay? Because I want to hear.
Before we did that, I just wanted to follow up on something Joanne was saying. She was talking about redirecting your thoughts, like from something sort of negative to something sort of positive. But another way to look at that same exact word is to almost like you're aiming, redirect your thoughts, redirect your thoughts, redirect your thoughts. That was it.
Okay, thank you. So let's see. Joanne, I'm going to let you go first now. I think. Wait a minute. Yeah. No, you just did. You just went. Never mind. I'm going to let Mary go first now because Mary went second. Okay. Go ahead, Mary.
I think some advice is, not to try and do everything yourself, to recognize your zone of genius and ask for help. Not everybody is great at graphics. Not everybody, I can spend so long on Canva tweaking something and being able to write some copy. Yeah, that comes easily for me, but it doesn't come easily for a lot of people. So recognize what the end goal is for you and the timeline, and budget what is going to make the most sense. And a lot of times you could barter or trade with somebody working on a project, but asking for help is not a sign that of weakness. It's that you recognize what your strengths are, and you're in community, and you are helping somebody else in whatever their zone of genius is to shine. So recognize your expertise and moving forward on everything that you do with the knowledge and the confidence that I'm going to make this the best that I can possibly make it. And if I don't, if not, I can't move efficiently on this. If I have to learn a new skill so that I can accomplish this, is it reevaluate, is this worthwhile? Or do I outsource it because I will have something ready to go and move on to what is my zone of genius?
Perfect. You had 10 seconds left, so good job. Joanne.
Okay, another piece of advice I was thinking about this is from another a marketing coach, and she said something about, I always get what I need out of anything, like any coaching she bought, any class she bought. She never complains about, oh, it didn't work, and she says that doesn't get to happen. So whatever to find, so basically to me the advice is like whatever you do, like whatever you buy, get coaching, a class, to find something in it that will help you. Like there's always something. And we're humans with great imaginations. We can find something and use it. So to me that's like was really important, because I'm kind of like one of these people that like to learn everything. So I'm into everything, and I'm learning on and taking this course or this class. I kind of stopped doing that so much, because it's sort of like, the inner wisdom too. But I've gone back and revisited some of those things I've taken or books I've read, and that I thought there wasn't anything there, and checked out and see that there actually is something there, that if we just put our attention on that idea that there's always something there to learn, we'll find it. So nothing is ever a waste of our time.
Great. Thank you, Joanne. And I will add that anytime I felt something, I didn't get something from something, usually it was because I didn't do the work to get something from something. So typically is I didn't put in the time, I didn't put in the energy, I didn't put in the work that was needed. And it's just easier to go, oh, that didn't work, instead of like beating myself up for spending money on yet another thing that I didn't do. I know nobody else has done that, right? Spent money on something that you never actually took advantage of. So Mia, let's wrap this up. What do you have?
The most important bit of business advice that I can offer is this: do not, under any circumstances, start a business. That's right. I said, don't start a business. Don't pick a name. Don't file your LLC. Don't get your website done. Don't, create intake forms. Don't do any of it, because the business isn't what matters. What matters is what you're passionate about, what makes your heart sing, what lights your hair on fire. Focus on what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what you can't wait to share with other people. Don't go into business, go into service. How can you help other people? How can you lift as you climb? What do you know that you can teach someone else? What can you share? How can you make someone else's life easier? Don't go into business.
That beautiful. Let's give everybody a hand right now.
Yeah.
Yes, because in those of us who are already in business, all of us in this room, I think I believe we can always notch up how we're serving. we can always serve just a little bit more, just a little bit wider, a little bit greater. Of course, we also have to keep our own boundaries and keep our own mental health and keep our own, in place, but we can always serve, I think, just a little bit more. And when we're serving the right people, it feels to me like I'm being served. When I'm serving the right people, I feel like I'm being served. So I would like to ask everybody here on Zoom with us, if you would unmute yourselves, and let's do a big round of applause and yays for our panel tonight so they can feel loved. And so ready, y'all? Come on. I'm not hearing you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all so much. And I want to thank whoops, there's your tie, Mia. There you go. Let me see. I think yes, here we go. Oh, I left off my little sheet that I usually wrap up with. I just want to thank all of you for being here on the Zoom call with me. Don't go anywhere, Zoom people, because we're going to go back into our Zoom rooms. But thank you, Mary, Mia, and Joanne, for sharing your wisdom with us tonight. And thank anyone who's watching this. If you want to find out more information about the On Purpose Woman Global Community and magazine, click on my website. That information is in the text of this video. It is opwgc.com. And if you want to try one of our online gatherings, you can find that information there as well. Thanks again for watching.